right. Hello, everyone. I am here today with a really fun video. This is actually Christy's tag. This is your book. Is it the booktube friendship tag?
It's the introduce your booktube buddy tag.
That's it. I was close.
You were close. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yes, yes. And it's very fun. We did it on Christy's channel already. And so we figured we would do one on my channel. So instead of Christy asking me questions today, I'm going to ask her questions. So I'm really looking forward and very curious to see what you have to say to your own questions. um,
Yes.
and I had a lot of fun preparing my answers for this. So I'm very excited to see what your answers are.
I'm
But
so glad you enjoyed it.
if you don't know Christy and her channel, which if you know my channel, you probably know Christy's channel. She'll be linked down below, her channel link, and please go check out her channel. It's like the best channel ever. I think we'll jump into the questions. So question number 1 is, what genres do you like to read?
I really love to read classics, a lot of times older classics. I really love to read from like Christian and Catholic perspectives, a lot of times with classics, because they're often so rich and they have really complex moral arguments, and they present situations that are just like so gripping to me, like in Jane Eyre or other books like that, where it's like there's a test of moral strength. That's like my favorite thing to read. So I really love those. I also really I like translated fiction. Lately I kind of go on country jags, like where I just want to read everything from a country. So for a while it was Russia, because Dostoevsky is one of my favorites, one of my top 5 favorites. And lately it's been Korea. I've been reading tons of translated stuff from Korea. So yeah. And it's been a year also for memoirs for me. I've been really loving memoirs, and I just have jumped onto the manga train as well. I'm really enjoying mangas. So yeah, but I do read other things.
What's the latest manga that you've read?
Oh, I'm really loving this series called The Apothecary Diaries. And it's about a woman who was kidnapped and brought into a palace in Japan. And she used to run an apothecary. And so she tries to kind of go under the radar there so that she's just not noticed by the people in charge, because it's basically she's working in a harem. But she ends up diagnosing some poisonings that were happening in the palace. And so people take note that she is aware of poisons and antidotes and stuff like that. And so it's just really interesting how she ends up getting promoted and ends up working to like basically improve the lives of people in Imperial Japan.
Oh, I haven't even heard of that one. But it's not, that doesn't say much because I don't know a lot of manga. I haven't read a lot of manga, but that's one I don't think I've seen it around.
Yeah, I heard of
Sounds
it from
really good.
Erin from Booked and Busy. She was
Oh,
reading it.
oh,
So
cool. So how have your preferences changed over the course of your time on BookTube, or have they changed?
I would say they change frequently for me because I've become more of a mood reader. So before I joined BookTube, I was originally just a mood reader. I would reread a lot. And then I started reviewing fantasy, so I was reading a lot of the new stuff, and then I got really sick of reading new stuff. And that's around the time when I started joining BookTube, and I titled my channel Dostoevsky in Space because I just assumed I would be checking out classics and science fiction. That was the direction that I thought I would head in.
Mhm.
So, but I still get a real hankering for fantasy once in a while, and I I read a lot from my friends. My friends are where I get most of my recommendations. So, my tastes have changed because basically I've gained a lot of friends here on BookTube and they recommend me crazy new stuff all the time, and I love it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think most people who have spent any time on booktube can definitely relate to, like, your palette is just expanded, and
Yes,
like things you wouldn't have really picked up on your own or sought out are suddenly like a possibility. And that's,
definitely.
yeah, that's something I love about the platform of booktube.
Like
It's
Victorian
definitely
literature. Like, was not even on my radar, but it's like the biggest booktube readathon.
yeah, it's a big one, a very big one, and a fun one.
Yes, it's
One
so
of my
fun.
favorites. One of my
Yeah.
favorites of the year.
Yes. It's like booktube Christmas. That and middle grade March are like booktube Christmas.
Yeah. So what kind of videos do you enjoy making the most?
I think collabs are my favorite. Like this one. I just collabs are the most fun for me because it's like making new memories with friends and you can look back on them, and a lot of times it's like a friend expansion when you're doing a collab. Like other people meet each other and become friends, and I just find that cycle very addictive of friends meeting new friends and making good memories. And so I love that, and I love live streams because I never really live stream without friends. So, and it's fun to chat with people in the comments that maybe in the live stream chat that maybe you've never even talked to before, but who like your channel, or you maybe meet them from somebody else's channel. Maybe your friend brought them over from their channel. Like live streams are very addictive for that reason. So those are probably my two favorites. But I also love doing vlogs for the same reason that you did, Victoria. It's fun to have a day in the life experience on your channel that you can look back on. It's like digital scrapbooking, you know?
Mhm.
And to me, scrapbooking has always seemed like it takes so much talent to do that, and so much art. I just can't even do that. So this is like my version of it that I can handle.
Yeah,
And
I feel that way as well.
I really love book reviews because you can delve deeply into a book. I really mark up my books, and that's like a chance for me to go back through all my tabs. It's like a reason for me to, because without book reviews or like live streams or something to prepare for, I get kind of lazy about
Mm.
my reading, and I want to be reading in such a way that I remember it and it becomes an important thing in my life. So
Yeah, you're a very intentional reader overall.
yeah, I
Yeah,
try to be. That's
yeah.
my goal. Thank you. That's such a nice compliment.
You are, I think, one of the people on BookTube who like bring people together the most, and that's just like a skill you have and a gift that you have that like some people have it and some people benefit from it, and I feel like I'm a person that has benefited from it. Like I've met a lot of people because of the thing, like the projects that you set up or the read-alongs that you're setting up. So that's definitely a gift that you have, is collabing and bringing people together.
Thank you.
It's
You
true.
made me
I
feel
think,
so seen.
well, I think everyone will agree with that.
Oh, thank you. Man, you just have a way of making somebody feel very seen. I really appreciate that.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm glad you feel seen. Well, you kind of started to go into it a little bit, but what is your process for gathering your thoughts on a book?
Yes. So I'll show you an example. I tab up my books quite a lot. Um, I don't have a color system because I literally will just buy giant stacks of them from Costco, or actually I usually get them for Christmas because my whole family thinks it's hilarious that I mark up my books. So they'll just get me a big bunch of Post-its from Costco, and then I cut them up into strips, and I will
Well, so
usually
you
put,
get like jumbo pads and then you cut
yeah,
them. Oh,
like these.
oh, okay, I see. Yeah, Costco
Yeah.
style.
Yes, Costco style. So, and I usually will have vocabulary words on them for the language that I'm currently learning. And so it's really a good way for me to review my vocab, but also I'm usually reading library books.
Hmm.
So for my own books, I will write in them and I'll make notes because honestly, it takes me so long to read a book, and that's just my process. It takes me a really long time. So I have to have notes to go back and remind myself, or I will remember nothing. So the tabs, I will just go back and review once I finish the book, and it'll remind me all this stuff, and I'll write it out, and I'll usually actually write a whole review of it, and then I will try to film pretty quickly after that so that I don't forget that. And that's my process.
Well, do you do that for every book you read? I'm just curious. Like you're tabbing in every book, or is it like certain?
I usually tab every book I read because I'm never sure, if it's going to become a book that I want to review. I don't review even close to everything that I read because it has to have enough thoughts of my thoughts to make it worthwhile. So if I'm listening on audiobook to a book, for the most part, I usually won't review it because I'm just enjoying it as it goes, and then I'm not going to remember it well enough to review it. But if I read a book physically, I will definitely tab it up and oftentimes review it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little hard to tab an audiobook.
Yeah.
A little bit.
There are, like, you can tab
Yeah.
it. I've seen that, but like I haven't. It's not tactile enough for me.
Yeah, I don't have the cognitive abilities to like keep up with that.
Yeah. That's for really intense people, I think.
Well, like I have heard some people say that like they actually read better on audio. Like they retain more on audio. I'm sadly not one of those people. I wish I was. That would be great. That would be very, very great. I always feel like when I audio read, I don't retain as well. But it
Same.
depends on if it's a reread for me, then sometimes I retain it better, or like I catch things that are different that I didn't catch the first time, just because like you're hearing it a different way, or like you're intaking a different way. But if it's like a first time through, audio is hard for me.
It can make books accessible, I think, to people who might not necessarily be able to read very much or
Oh yeah, totally.
very often. But it might not be the best for somebody who wants to write to annotate everything.
What is a bookish goal that you have?
Well, I really want to read more nonfiction. So that's a goal of mine. I like I said, have really been enjoying memoirs because those are very easy to listen to because you're getting the gist of their life and you don't have to remember a lot of details because you're like living it. It's like an experience. Listening to a memoir is like gaining an experience. So I love that. But I also want to read physically some nonfiction. And I'm trying to do that. I'm reading a Korean history book, but I've literally been reading it for like 2 years. So it's just a very slow process for me. I'm a very slow reader if I don't have an audiobook. And for something that I have to pay attention to and want to remember, I will usually really mark up the text and like summarize it after each chapter, and it's a process. But I feel like that's how I really want to kind of store more up here. So that's the only way I can do it. It's a very laborious reading of nonfiction.
But that's good though, because that's something I've been thinking about lately actually is because on booktube you get used to like wanting to read a lot, and like how many books did you read, how many books did this person read this month, and then you feel like, oh my gosh, I only read 3 books or whatever, and then it's like, okay, that's kind of a lot for most people. Like who are not on booktube, that's a lot of books, 3 a month. But with just more close reading, you can't, like, if you're close reading and I don't know, if you're retaining, some people can retain and read really fast, but like if that's not your style, like I'd rather go slow through something and retain it and like have a better experience. I think that's something I want to prioritize more in my reading, is like the experience and the understanding rather than like blowing through books to say that I've read them,
Yeah,
so
totally.
That's something that I think we can lose sometimes when you're on the book internet. It's easy to feel like you're always behind. But nonfiction, every time I read nonfiction, it like enhances my life in some way. So
Yeah,
it's like I don't know why I don't prioritize it more.
I agree. It's if you focus on only a couple books a year and it's a major experience, like a life-changing experience for you, would you take that over reading 100 books in a year? I mean, I would.
Yeah,
So
I would
that's a
too.
good goal.
Next question. What other hobbies do you have other than reading
Well,
and making videos? Because, yeah,
yeah,
it
that is a separate hobby. Yes.
is.
So I kind of also go on jags where I will do a lot of video editing and a lot of reading. Um, but I also have other hobbies that I will intersperse in there, and I like to change it up depending on how I'm feeling, how my mental health is doing. So, for example, I really love K-pop. So that's one of my other hobbies, probably my newest hobby, because I liked K-drama before then. So that's my other hobby is watching K-dramas with friends, group watches. And I ended up deciding to learn Korean because I was getting so much input already. And I just enjoy learning foreign languages. That's something I enjoy doing. I've worked on other languages previously. So Korean is my focus right now, and I'm doing a lot of K-pop lately because it's just the time in my life where I'm doing a lot of physical therapy, and so I'm just watching stuff while I'm doing that because I can't really read and
Mhm.
also do my exercises. So so that changes. My hobby changes, but those are my constants, that I go in between.
What book have we both read, and did we have different opinions on it?
So I feel like we often don't have like vastly different opinions on books because, we both really like classics, and a lot of times we'll find it worth the effort to get through a classic, even if it's a struggle. And
Mhm.
so I think probably our differences are one, Dostoevsky probably isn't one of your top five like he is for me. So that's a difference, but you
No,
also,
but, like, I can see, like, I know why he's important, and I know what you see in him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's often sometimes where we fall is, like, I see what you see, and, like, I understand the value that you get out of it, even if I didn't have the same experience. Like, that's sometimes where we land.
Exactly. I think we like our tastes are very adjacent, even if they're not
Mhm.
exact. I was just gonna say we're currently reading The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco, which you've already finished for the second time.
That's okay.
And I'm still very slowly making my way through
Again, like, totally fine, as long as you are enjoying that way of reading it.
I find that I enjoy it more when I can take breaks from it and then come back to it. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
yeah, it gets really dense in sections.
Yeah. And it seems like it's worth the effort a lot of times to get through those sections, but it's also like very taxing reading.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's again where it's kind of like, you give it like 4 stars. So it's like that makes me always want to read it more if it's something that you really value. So I'm continuing on with it. Whereas if I was alone, I don't know if I would have continued. So yeah, that's the kind of book relationship we have.
Mm, that's very accurate. That's a good way of putting it. But there are some books that like I think we both or would be like, that is an amazing book. Like Jane Eyre.
Yes.
I think like I love to return to Jane Eyre as well. And I know you'll like just drop everything to read Jane Eyre if that's like the mood. It's like it's Jane Eyre
Yes.
time.
Definitely.
And Stormlight Archives.
Yes, that's another one. That's another thing. I think probably you read fantasy more often or you get the hankering to read fantasy more often. But like again, Brandon Sanderson was an author that we both loved so much that we could really enjoy doing an extensive like 6-month read along together about it.
This next one is book recommendations. So I think you have one for me?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I just have a feeling that you would really love the Red Rising series.
I know, and I have the first one. I own the first one. I need to read it. Yeah, I have a feeling I will love it too.
Because it's like got great character work, and it's like about revolution, and I think it's kind of hard-edged in a way that I think might appeal to you, and it's very fast-paced. Like it's a thrill ride type of series. So I'm hoping that you love it as much as I did.
Yeah, it does sound like something I would really like. It's not YA, it's adult.
It's adult.
It's adult. Okay.
I think the first book, it's about teenagers, and people compared it to the Hunger Games, but it's like so much more intense. It's definitely more adult. But I can see where the comparisons come in.
Yeah, for some reason in my mind I lump it with like the Hunger Games or like the Scythe trilogy. Like for some reason it goes in that category for me. But like I don't know why, because it's not YA, it's adult fantasy. So
yeah, a lot of people have made comparisons like that, so that's it's not off exactly, it's just more adult than those. Okay. Especially more adult than the Scythe ones.
Okay, good to know. Awesome. That is a good recommendation. Yes. that is on my radar. I will get to it. I will have to prioritize it. Maybe for next year.
Yes, do that would be good. I did enjoy them on audiobook too.
So oh really? The audio is good?
Yeah, the audio is good.
Oh, I'll see if I can find it.
But you can always go back and reread it later, which is what I did.
Okay, yeah, I'll see if I have access to the audiobook. I bet I can find it in the library or something.
Probably.
Number 8 is book mail. So on my channel, I open book mail from Christy. So she's gonna open book mail from me, and I think it came in 2 packages. So yes, I think you have both of them now, right?
Yes, I do.
The second one like took forever to come. But it was my fault because Amazon decided that it didn't like my credit card. That was I had to keep updating it. And then it was like, you need to update it. And I was like, I already did.
Oh, Amazon.
But it made it. It made it finally.
It made it, yes. I got a very cute note from Victoria. And thank you for this. I loved hearing from you. And so I accidentally opened this one early because I didn't realize that it was from Victoria. So I ordered some stuff at the same time. So it says, "Not meow, I'm reading."
I like the voice. I like the voice that you did for the cat. Yes. Like a grumpy librarian cat.
Yeah.
Not meow.
Not meow, I'm reading. I love that. And so I also have this box that I need to open.
Oh, it's in a box, dang.
Yes, it's in a box.
It's probably a really light box.
Yeah, it is.
Why did they put it in a box?
I think this one came in a box too.
Really? That's so funny.
Yeah. That's
so funny. I don't know. Amazon, they do their own thing.
I would have thought, yeah, like an envelope would be cheaper, but maybe not. I think I got your note again.
Oh, it's the same note.
Same note. I love the note. I'm happy to have 2. Okay. I read past my bedtime, is what it says. It's so cute. The fox.
I feel like that's accurate to Christy, because you're more of a night owl.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's wild? Ever since I started taking an anti-anxiety medicine, I am to bed like before 11 every night.
No way.
I'm totally serious. It has changed my life. And now I don't stay up late reading. But when I do stay up late, like the other day, we got ice cream, and mine was coffee ice cream.
Ooh, that's the best.
It was delicious, but it kept me up till like 4 in the morning.
Oh, it had caffeine in it, probably.
Yeah, I didn't anticipate that. I can't tolerate caffeine really at all anymore. So, So I did stay up reading past my bedtime. But yeah, I definitely, that was my life before anti-anxiety meds.
Well, I'm glad you can sleep better now.
Yes, I'm thrilled. But yeah, I still do read I do all my reading at night, so this is like very appropriate.
Yeah, I do most of my reading before bed now, and I try to like, I'm like prying my eyes open, trying not to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, but sometimes I read like a sentence and then I fall asleep. It's like, well, so much for that.
As a parent of an infant, you are chronically low on sleep, so that is,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it gets challenging sometimes.
Yes.
Yay. Okay, cool. I'm glad that you like them.
I love them. Thank you. Yay.
Yay. Number
You can
9.
never have me.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm still reveling in my presence.
Revel away. Number 9 is exchange booktube memories. And I think you're giving me a memory, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Trying to remember like what we did last time.
on our other video, you gave me a memory.
Okay,
So
got it.
just like, and I gave you a card, and some of these other questions were switched depending on who was on the receiving and giving end. So so okay, one memory that, there were so many that I could choose for this, but I decided to go with one of our first memories together because I only knew you a little bit from booktube when I met Michael and Ryan. And so Michael and Ryan and I had our first Skype call like probably a month or two before we had our first call with you. And we started planning Stormalong together. And I just remember after all of our live streams and our plannings and just chatting and stuff like that, I just remember being like so exhilarated to be talking with you guys because I literally did not have any friends that were like that were like, you know, my age and bookish and just people that I would love to be around, even if I was like really sleepy or I hadn't eaten our meal yet because we were on California time. Victoria and I were always sitting there like starving and being introverts while the parents would talk about parenting things.
Yes.
And
yes.
It was like such good memories. So
those are really good memories when we would, and like we would just talk for hours after like the live stream would be over and it would be like 2 hours later and we were all still talking. Those are really good memories for me too. Yeah, that was my like the first time I had like engaged in like a group booktube thing as well.
Same.
So yeah, it was just so fun. Yeah, just like birds of a feather, like all getting together.
Yes, that was very special.
It was special. Yes, for sure. That's a good memory. That's a good one to pick.
Good.
The origin story.
Yes, it's our origin story, exactly.
Yes. And I think those are all the questions for you.
Yay, we did
You
it.
survived your own interview.
It was like an interview. Oh.
And you did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this with me because I would not I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't thinking about fun things to do with Victoria.
Oh, that's really sweet. That's really sweet. But you do have one more question, and it's pick another booktuber to tag, and that's my turn to tag someone. So you tagged 2 people, and I'm gonna tag 2 people as well. So I'm gonna tag Rainy from Rainy Day Reads, who is just another just wonderful booktube friend who is just a joy to talk to, and always like lifts my spirits when I get to talk to her. And she made Sandro the night like the cutest little jacket. She's a knitter, crocheter, and she's really good crafty. and
She's insanely talented.
insanely crafty. Yeah, and she made Sandra the nicest jacket, and it's just like the sweetest thing. So Rainy, I'm tagging you, and I'm also gonna tag V from the Sassy Library Fox.
Yes, I love V.
Yay! And V is someone I'm gonna buddy read The Diviners with in November. So we're gonna do it's our first buddy read that we're gonna do together. So V
Yay.
and Rainy, you are both tagged for this tag, and I can't wait to see more people do it. And if you're not tagged, I also want you to do it too. I want everybody to do it. I just want to see all these like buddy read book tags to come up.
Yeah, seeing two friends talk about things is like the best of booktube content, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I will watch all of them.
Same.
And that is the tag. Woo!
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you for answering your own questions and for being such a good booktube buddy. And thank you for watching this video. If you watched it all the way to the end, good job. I don't know how long this is, but it's probably pretty long at this point.
Yeah.
But you are all rock stars. Thank you for watching, and go check out Christy's channel as well. And she has a video where she interviews me on these questions. So if you haven't watched that, you can go head over. I'll link that down below as well. And I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, bye-bye.